done right. No nonsense, real and raw, just like you like it.
He's corrupt, he's inexperienced, and he lies.
Broadcasting from a broom closet in the Arizona Lotus Studios, it's Beef Vegan Presents.
Yo, welcome back to the show. It's Beef Vegan Presents live on Rock 102.1 KFMA, streaming worldwide at KFMA.com on this beautiful Thursday, February 12th. Good morning, Emil.
Hey, good morning. Man.
Good morning, Kendall.
Good morning.
Good morning, Tucson. Thank you guys for tuning into the show. This is our last show of the week. We're going to have an extended weekend here and be back on Tuesday, right? So it's like a 4-day weekend. Super excited about that. But so far, we've already had, a bunch of great shows, bunch of people coming by, and we're not stopping that today. Today, we're going to have literally a legend in studio. And our theme, inadvertently this week, has been the best of the best, right? Is what we've been doing. We covered in an Arizona Alpha Man story, the Guinness World Record holder of the most Stranger Thing collectibles. That's in Chandler, Arizona. A man named Joey Alvarez. We featured him prominently. I posted a reel on that if you want to see his story. He's the best at collecting Stranger Things thing, right?
Best at it.
And then yesterday, had an amazing email in the morning on my way into the studio that came out of the blue. A couple months ago, Kendall and Justin Spears attempted to break the world record for eating the most anchovies in 60 seconds.
I remember that. It was disgusting.
Yeah. The man who actually held that record saw the reel and reached out to me, and he's like, with all due respect, I'm that guy.
Yeah.
He's an Italian.
Of course.
Yeah, his name is Vicente. And he joined us on the podcast yesterday, and we talked with him for a good 10 minutes. Couldn't have been nicer. A professor in Italy. It was fantastic, and gave Kendall some pointers. Have you been working on your swallowing?
Not with the anchovies. So.
Okay. Well, it's all salty. It's all the same.
Yeah.
So we did that. And then today, when it comes to Jack the Whipper, this guy is literally, he could be considered the best at his craft. He is a feature performer at the Renaissance Fair, and not just this Renaissance Fair. Like, he is a sought after, like, A-plus talent. We're like, hey, you want to move the needle, you want to get people coming out and entertain the masses, you got to get Zach the Whipper. And he's a guy that does a one-man show with the whip. He knows how to do that, but he's also hilarious, and he may or may not be having a secret affair with Weirdo. I don't know.
I got a story about that guy too.
Yeah?
Yeah. If we got a second, you want to talk about it?
Yeah, you guys.
So we went, this was years and years ago. My wife and I went to the Ren Fair. This was like 2017, 2018. I think this was him. And we were super baked. We just got really stoned in the parking lot we went in. We're just trying to figure out what to do. We wanted to go see the whip show,
Yeah.
And he's really good. So, but like, we like to just kind of hang back away from everything. We're just like lurking in the background there. And that's what we were doing. And the show started, and just higher than a Georgia pine at this point. And we're just sitting back there watching it. And he looks over, and the crowd's like off to the side. And he's like, hey, you guys, why don't you come over here? And he's like pointing us out. And I'm like, oh my God. and then he does it a couple times. I'm like, no, I'm good. He walks over and he picks my wife up.
Yeah.
And he walks off with her. And I feel like every single eye just like looking at me.
Yeah, he's like, you gonna let him do that?
Yeah.
You gonna be a little bitch and let her the Whipper man just took your lady.
And I'm just like, so I have to get up and I do that walk of shame. Okay, I'm coming over to, and everybody's just watching me. And I feel it. And when you're like, under the influence, you're just feeling it like 10 times more.
Oh, yeah.
It's like the worst thing.
Anxiety inducing. It's a nightmare.
So I just like walk over and I just look at her. We get up and we leave. We're like, enough with this. But that's my story.
Okay.
It's like putting me on the spot. Thanks, Jack the Whipper.
Jack the Whipper. He's good. That's how smooth he is. The ladies love him. And so, we'll talk about them. And of course, so we'll talk about Ren Fair as well and everything that they have going on. And maybe he'll be honest with me and tell me that those turkey legs are actually emu.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm looking into that.
Right. A couple things that we'll get into today. Yesterday, it was a very sad day for several different reasons. First and foremost, actor James Van Der Beek, he passed away, and it was trending yesterday. Of course, as you know, he was dealing with cancer, and I wasn't necessarily a Dawson's Creek guy, but you grow to appreciate James Van Der Beek, and James Van Der Beek, by all accounts, was like a really good guy.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, and he actually, as I was going through kind of the rabbit hole popping up, obviously when you're dealing with cancer and someone who's been through cancer, you see the struggle. It's easy to get down on yourself. It's like the hardest struggle and battle that you have to do in your entire life. There is some inspiring, uplifting words that James Van Der Beek said before he passed away that might bring a tear to your eye. And honestly, I got to share it just because the message itself is so powerful. So listen to this. This is posted by James Van Der Beek shortly before he passed away.
Today's my birthday, and it has been the hardest year of my life. And I wanted to share something that I learned with y'all. When I was younger, I used to define myself as an actor, right? Which was never really all that fulfilling. And then I became a husband, and that was much better. And then I became a father, and that was the ultimate. I could define myself then as a loving, capable, strong, supportive husband, father, provider, steward of the land that we're so lucky to live on. And for a long time, that felt like a really good definition to the question, who am I? What am I? And then this year, I had to look my own mortality in the eye. I had to come nose to nose with death. And all of those definitions that I cared so deeply about were stripped from me. I was away for treatment, so I could no longer be a husband that was helpful to my wife. I could no longer be a father who could pick up his kids and put them to bed and be there for them. I could not be a provider because I wasn't working. I couldn't even be a steward of the land because at times I was too weak to prune all the trees during the window that you're supposed to prune them. And so I was faced with the question, if I am just a too skinny, weak guy alone in an apartment with cancer, what am I? And I meditated and the answer came through. I am worthy of God's love. Simply because I exist. And if I'm worthy of God's love, shouldn't I also be worthy of my own? And the same is true for you. And as I move through this healing portal toward recovery, I wanted to share that with you because I think that revelation that came to me was due in no small part to all the prayers and the love that have been directed toward me. So I offer that to you, however it sits in your consciousness, however it resonates, run with it. And if the word God trips you up, I certainly don't know. I can't claim to know what God is or explain God. My efforts to connect to God are an ongoing process that is a constant unfolding mystery to me. But if it's a trigger, it feels too religious, you can take the word God out and your mantra can simply be, I am worthy of love.
Powerful.
Because you are.
Absolutely. What great words to remember a legacy of James Van Der Beek. Passed away yesterday. So in that note, we are worthy of putting on a great show for you and connecting with you, and we hope that you have a wonderful morning, and we want you to listen to us all morning long because we will put a smile on your face. We got tickets to give away for Black Label Society and Tucson Gem Show and your Tucson Roadrunners. Your morning moron coming up after music from 7 Mary 3, so keep it right here. It's Rock 102.1 KFMA Beef Vegan presents, but you know the name of the show, Tucson. Let's go. Man, welcome back to Beef Vegan Presents. Now 6:16 and time for your morning moron. Let's do this. I'm going to be honest with you. This story is in Morning Moron. It's 20 because the pun is just too good not to feature it, okay? Right. And I'll break it down for you. There was a man in Sacramento who got arrested this week for stealing beehives. Now, you know, bees are endangered. Of course, they're printing money every time they produce some honey. Oh, I love that honey money. Well, you can't be stealing beehives, right? That's somebody's property, super valuable. So the cops set up a sting operation.
Oh,
I love
right,
this. It's so full of fun.
Right.
That's it. That's open and shut. There's your story. That's it. No, but I'm not even joking. This is legitimately what happened. Cops got a report on Tuesday that some bee boxes showed up on a piece of property in Yolo County. And they noticed the markings on the boxes have been altered to hide the fact that they were in fact stolen bees. So they did set up, in fact, a sting operation. They staked out the spot and they arrested the guy when he showed up. We got a photo of him with handcuffs that I'll be able to show you. And he's still wearing his Peakeeper's outfit. In fact, yeah, I'll show you.
He's like the net over his head and stuff.
Well, they took the net off just so they could see the shame on his face.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, you can just like make beehives. You don't have to just steal them.
That's true.
Yeah,
You
did
just
he
make 'em.
misunderstand the message of save the bees? Like, does he think he's doing good or something?
It's like Al Gore out there.
Yeah, all he did was move the bees, and try to profit off the bees in another place. Like, I'll take your work and your beehives, and then I'll move it over here and do all that. There's the pictures of the man in shame, head down, beekeeper's mask off. So yeah, this legit. They felt really good about getting the sting on this guy. He's a 47-year-old named Leonid. And now he's facing felony theft charges. No word why on why he stole the hives, but he's probably just not a big fan of honey. Farms pay a lot of money to have those hives brought in when their crops need pollinating.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what they use that for. I didn't know that. Yeah. So I thought it's like, okay, they're just farming the honey. It's like no. We got to pollinate. And
that's just like the benefit. Yeah. That's like the side benefit.
It's a huge benefit.
Yeah, totally.
And without bees,
the main benefit.
we wouldn't have plants and all these things that we need. That's all we need to save the bees. This guy, again, he was just being selfish, and I'm glad that they set up a sting operation. And so with all those puns, I had to address it. So stealing beehives is definitely going to make you a morning moron.
Beehive.
Oh, it's okay. We're done here.
Sorry.
We're live on the podcast broadcast, and in this next hour is dedicated to our special guest. And our theme this week inadvertently became a theme this week. It's kind of like talking to people who are the best in the world at a thing, right? So we talked about Arizona Alpha Man and Joey, who is the Guinness World Record holder for the most Stranger Things collected, and that's in Chandler, Arizona, that man. And then yesterday we got an email because a couple months ago we attempted to break the Guinness World Record for eating the most anchovies in 60 seconds. And the man who actually holds that record came across one of our reels and reached out to me, Vicente.
Saying we.
Well,
it wasn't really a
I bought the
effort.
anchovies, okay? let's not get down to the nitty gritty.
God, did he make you do it?
Oh, yeah, I did it. And Justin Spears. Shout out Justin. Him and
Okay.
I. We are the we.
Can we get there? This is part of the introduction of sorts. As I'm painting a picture here. So yes, okay. And he reached out to us, and he's the Guinness World Record holder of the most anchovies, Vicente. And today we get to talk to a man who could be considered one of the best in the world at his craft. Yes, I will say this, and I think a lot of other people will say that, but the man sitting in the studio right now will not. He goes by Jack the Whipper. Jack, good morning and welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. It's wonderful to be here.
Yes, of course. And I'll do abbreviated introduction of that here on the air in a little bit. But you are a master of your craft. And I know that, the performance aspect of it, that takes a lifetime to kind of master as well. But just the actual skill of being able to, do what is the art of the whip? Not play that you, because that's a whole nother thing.
You're throwing out a whole bunch of terms, and I'm like, no, you can't say that next to whips.
What would you call your craft when it comes to the whips?
I'm a circus performer / stand-up comedian.
Okay,
That's what I would generally say.
Nice, yeah. And the circus performer aspect of it, your specialty is whips and being able to do that, which again, what makes it so great about the skill, it's also very dangerous and scary too when you hear it crack and that you could use that whip like Indiana Jones and get yourself from like point A to point B, or you could use that to diffuse a situation, take a weapon out of a man's hand.
No. I did a video about this recently. Everyone thinks whips are really intimidating, but then when you actually get to it, they don't actually do all that much damage. I did a whole video of talking about just how hard it is to actually do real damage with a whip, and then I compared it to just a sword. And just did the lightest cut. I was trying to whip a honeydew melon in half.
Yes.
And
okay.
I was a little mark. And then I took, this crappy sword I had and just kind of sliced it across, not even all that hard, clean cut in half. Okay. So listen, if you're in a fight, don't bring a whip.
Okay. Don't bring a whip to a sword fight.
Bring literally anything else.
Okay. That does make sense. It's an intimidating sound.
Yes.
And you crack that. Just it kind of brings back memories of when I was a child and in trouble, and my dad would like snap the belt, and he never hit me with the belt, but he'd snap it enough to scare the bejesus out of me, right?
Psychological warfare.
Yes, absolutely. So, but that does make sense. Okay, yes, a sword will decimate a melon far faster than a whip.
Yeah.
But I mean, how long did you try to whip the melon?
So we filmed a big long video about this. I want to say we were out there for about a half an hour of me wailing on honeydew melons, cantaloupes, pineapples. I can whip soda cans in half.
You can? Okay,
yeah.
okay.
But that's it. That is a technique that requires so much finesse. That took me 10 years to figure out. And it's like the amount of setup you need to get that trick right.
Yeah,
is you don't have time to do that if you're trying to use this in a self-defense situation.
Yeah, but I mean, you spent at least 10,000 hours working with the whip, right, to be a master of your craft.
Well, I started cracking whips when I was 7 years old.
Yeah, because you were a circus performer growing up, right?
I was in the circus growing up. My dad was a performer. I was mostly like a stagehand, and every now and then I'd help him and do a little bit of performing. But
what did he do?
He did a little bit of everything: whip cracking, knife throwing, sword fighting.
Yeah.
He has a tablecloth routine: stack pitchers on a table, pull out the tablecloth, none of them spill over.
Right.
He was a jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah. Is that why he named you Jack, or is that why you go by Jack?
No, they named me John, which I'm like, why did you do that? Why didn't you just name me Jack? Because I hate the name John. I think his circus teacher in France, he went to Paris to study circus for 2 years in the 70s.
Yeah.
And his teacher there was named Jacques. So I think he named me Jack because of that.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. And so, I mean, at an early age, we're going to talk about how you went into radio and everything, which must have wildly disappointed your dad at the time.
No, he was all for it.
He was.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, but I mean, the circus kept calling, and you end up just going back to it, and you never actually stopped because you were performing, doing these kind of circus acts, Ren fairs, weekend events and stuff while still doing radio. We'll talk a little bit about that. Before we do, what's your YouTube page so I can pull that up as well?
Jacques Z Whipper, JACQUES ZEWHIPPER.
And that is
How's
live
your French?
from NPR.
My French is okay. My typing is abysmal, but yes, I want to pull that up as well. So I got that here so we can see, and on the podcast broadcast stream, you get plenty of examples of this, and then some of the stunts showcasing how accurate you are with the whip, but also apparently how non-dangerous it is.
Except for when he can't get the flame to go off of the whip.
That was such a weird show. It wouldn't go out.
Oh, is this last weekend?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
So was that random? So like you lit the whip on fire, and then people have seen that trick before, and then you whip it a couple times and it goes out. My God, it took 3 minutes.
It wouldn't go out. I don't know what was going on there. I mean, like those whips they're designed to burn for a little bit longer than I need, but this was it. Like I was like, we're at the time where one good crack should put this thing out, and it was just like it would go out and then just like fizzle back up, and I was like, "Now, what are you doing?" I was like, "All right, well, now let's just stare and look at the fire together."
Yeah. Now, when you perform, do you do stand-up comedy outside of like Ren Fair settings? So you do like right up stand-up comedy without any kind of whips or any of the circus performer aspects of it?
No, there's always at least a little bit of whipping. So I just wrote a new hour, December, January, that is probably 70 to 80% stand-up and then 20 to 30% whips.
Right. Nice. And not necessarily like a Gallagher aspect of it, right? Because, Gallagher gets, not enough credit for being the stand-up comedian that he is, because a lot of people focus on the aspect of the watermelon smashing, but he was brilliant and he's just commentary in general and stuff. Would you consider kind of like in that realm?
I mean, I'm definitely still a prop comedian.
Right.
But I mean, like for me, it's if I go out there and I don't do any whip cracking, I don't think that they would have a bad time, but I would feel like I didn't give them what they came there for.
True, because of your name precedes you,
exactly.
Right? And so you're getting a lot of people. You have a massive online following, so yeah, you're selling tickets. Yeah, they want to see the skill.
Yeah,
which is amazing too. I mean, at what point did you feel like you started getting good at whip?
So I felt proficient in it by the time I was an adult. By the time I was 18, I was doing street shows when I was a teenager.
Nice.
I felt like my show got good after about 4, 5, 6 years at the Renaissance Fair. I remember it was 2013 or 14 where the Renaissance Fair I was working at in Boston, they did like a little Facebook poll of like, who's your favorite act? And I won by a landslide. And I was like, oh, am I good?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. I guess people really like the show. Like I thought I didn't think I was bad, but I didn't think I was really great.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I guess people like what I'm doing.
Did you catch any resentment from other performers at that Ren Fair? Because it's got to be competitive to a certain extent, right?
I was rooming with the act that came in second. And they were very gracious about it, but they were still like,
yeah. It's like, don't worry, man. You came in second. I mean, a mile behind in second, but
it's fine. You know, it doesn't matter if I got twice as many votes. You know, in this vote that 100 people voted in. So, like, you know, let's take the ego from here down to here.
Okay, yeah. But statistically, percentages are still percentages at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so, and starting off as a street performer too, that's a great way to hone your craft and serious, because every single person's a cold audience, right?
Yeah.
And a skeptical one that's not necessarily coming to see how charming or funny an 18-year-old's going to be with the whip. They're just going to be like, keep on walking.
Well, also in Boston, you know, I know you guys are down in Arizona. In Boston, people don't take kindly to a random dude dressed like a cowboy cracking whips on the sidewalk.
That's I can see
it's
that.
an unusual occurrence for us in the Northeast.
Yeah, no, I mean, we see it on 4th Avenue all the time, and that's just Charlie doing his thing.
And it's Tuesday.
Yeah, and it's not performing. But yeah, I could see that. And Boston's got to be a tough crowd, you know, so to cut your teeth there is a good spot.
They will get you real used to audiences not laughing and it not being the worst thing. Because like I would know it'll tell you what your good material is.
Yeah.
2, it will, if a joke doesn't land, you don't panic anymore. I don't panic if I don't get a laugh at one line, I'm like, all right, cool, on to the next one.
Right. Yeah. That's what experience will get you too.
Yeah.
And knowing that you have another one and knowing where you're going with at the end of the show and what you're building. And so, yeah, it's got to be difficult to, as a performer in an early stage, to put that much pressure where every joke needs to land.
It's also, honestly, I think it's easier when you're first starting out because, like, if I couldn't go do street performing now, I have been spoiled by my audiences.
Right.
They're there. They're easy. They're nice.
They're ready for it.
For me to go and, like, talk to an audience that might be an oil painting, like, I can't, I'm like, my confidence can't, my ego can't take that anymore.
Right, yeah. We are live here on Rock 102.1 KFMA, and that smooth voice that you're hearing is former NPR morning announcer, but now Ren Fair feature act, Jack the Whipper. We got Jack in studio. I know. It's going to happen. I mean, but I see what you did there, you know. And in fact, actually, so we have to play a new song the newest from Limp Bizkit and continue with our conversation, Jack. Now, this weekend will be the last weekend that you could see him perform at the Arizona Ren Fair. So if you were planning on going to the Ren Fair, this is the weekend to do it, to catch this man who's a master of his craft, but also has that smooth NPR-like radio voice. I like to put people just on the spot. Can you give me a radio tease of coming up next? Right after Limp Bizkit's Making Love to Morgan Wallen.
Coming up next, you'll hear more talking with Jacques Z. Whipper. Is he French? Is he not? No one really knows. Stick around here on 102.1.
Nailed it.
That was so cool.
Yeah.
That was great. Yeah. I love that.
I couldn't remember if it was KMFDA.
Oh, yeah, I know. It tricks you. It tricks you. Yeah. And then people mess it up, but
there we go. Yeah. I'm glad
but
I didn't do the call letters then.
Exactly. You know, yeah. It was a good call. Good call.
Well, and it does. It just comes like right back, right? Because like, you know, I have stepped away, but then people will finally put 2 and 2 together when I'm doing their hair, and they're like, "You sound really familiar." I was like, "Well, I was Weirdo on Rock 102.1 KFMA." Like you just go right, you just go right back into it, and they're like, "Oh my God, that's you!" And I was like, "Yeah, that's me."
It was funny because like when I was on the radio, my last name is Lepiars, and that is a very weird, unusual name.
Yeah.
And so when I would talk to people in normal life, they'd be like, Lepiars. They're like, oh, hey, are you that guy on the radio's son? And I'd be like, no. That's
you have that mature voice too. Yeah.
Well, I mean, 16 years of smoking helped with that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, you know, it didn't really work out that smoothly for my voice, unfortunately. I got the extra,
it's a crapshoot.
the rough. Yeah.
But you got that grit now.
Thank you. In
Don't
fact,
smoke, kids.
I was going to do a bit, and I still have to do a bit because people continue to compare me to Steve-O, which I get offended by because I think Steve-O sounds way worse than I do, and they don't understand the nuances and the differences between two. In fact, actually, let me do this just for the Oh, never mind. I just X'd out the thing. I had a video pulled up ready as an example of what Steve-O sounds like now, which is more like that.
Yeah.
Like maybe 2001 Steve-O. Who do you get compared to? Because you got such a voice. Voice guys always get compared to other voices.
I don't get a whole actually, what's been going around lately is Vox from Has Been Hotel, the TV head guy.
Yeah.
We have a pretty similar voice. His is a little bit higher than me, which I've noticed because I've been trying to learn his songs. I know Has Been Hotel is going to get requested.
Yeah.
And all of his songs just go like 2 notes out of my range, and I can't quite hit that.
You sing a little bit during your shows, though.
Yeah, so I start almost every show with at least 2 or 3 whip songs.
Yeah.
One that I pick, and then 2 or 3 from the audience.
And obviously whip it. You have to do Devo.
I've done it a few times.
Just a few times, huh?
Less than you would think.
Yeah.
I have a list of songs that I will not do. It's usually whatever's getting requested way too much right now. And Devo's Whip It, not on that list.
Wow.
But K-pop Demon Hunters for sure.
You bet your booty.
Oh yeah.
I took that off the list of songs I wouldn't do for one show, and it was 3 of the 4 requests. I was like, cool, right back on the list you go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't deny what people want.
But you can for the sake of comedy.
Well,
because that was honestly probably one of the biggest laughs you got is when you listed off like the 10, you got booed and laughed at the same time. Yes. It was fantastic.
I love the boo/laugh.
Yeah,
I love that every single time.
Yeah.
Does it make you happy when you get groans? Like
yes,
when you get
100%.
people that hard, they're just like, ugh.
I used to have a whole bit in my show where I did a series of Nicolas Cage puns. And the first one would get a laugh, the second one would get a groan, and then I would do about 5 more.
Right.
Where it would be this thing where like you lost the audience, and then by the end they had come back around and they were like, "Let's go!"
Yeah, they're
It's
doing their
never
own
ending.
Nicolas
Yeah.
Cage puns. You have to tell me about the Slayer Man. Like, how did that start? So, for anybody that doesn't already follow Jacques, there is one person that is allowed to request Slayer, and that is Slayer Man. He shows up in disguise. He has even shown up backstage in a Minecraft Jacques the Whipper costume.
Collaborated with my wife.
Yeah, she totally did. You
we got time for one or 2
how
more.
long has that?
Hang on. Oh God, elevation.
How many places? How many miles have you done?
We got time for one or 2.
The furthest he has gone is Colorado. He lives in Massachusetts, so he's gone 2,000 miles. So this is a man who has been coming to my show since 2012, and he's got this big, loud metalhead voice where he'll yell, "Slayer!"
Yeah.
And it used to be that I would be like, if you've got a song request, just yell it out.
Right.
And he would yell louder than everyone else. Yeah. And so this became a thing. Once a year, he would show up, request Slayer. And finally, he left a comment on my old Facebook page, like the Jacques Super Facebook page, saying like, "I hope you learned some Slayer." And I'm like, oh yeah, this guy keeps showing up. So I finally learned some, and this was 2018.
Yeah.
And I did Slayer for him in that show. And then I started doing other Renaissance fairs, and he started riding his motorcycle all the way down to Maryland so he could yell Slayer at me there. Jersey, yell Slayer at me there. At this point, he has shown up on 5 different venues to request Slayer.
This is genuine?
This
is
is
a real
I
guy.
have my own personal heckler but he's also the perfect heckler because he's got his bit.
Mm-hmm.
He we have a little back and forth.
Is his timing good?
It's perfect.
Yes.
And then he shuts up the rest of the show.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah, so he doesn't prematurely yell it. He kind of feels where it's the right time, and you don't like kind of plan it ahead of time with him, like right after this, do that. Right?
We did one show where I planned it, where I was like, okay, you're gonna go up on top of this trailer behind me and mess with me, but I didn't know that he was gonna be there that day.
Yeah. What about this short that I pulled up where it says everyone wants to be Slayer Man? Is that Slayer Man in person?
Is everyone else yelling Slayer when they are not the Slayer Man.
Okay, here, let's listen to it, and you can watch this along youtube.com/bfegan. Check this out.
2 more. Oh, hang on. Oh God, elevation. Why? Colorado, why? Beard. No. There's one person in this world who's allowed to yell for Slayer Man, and you are not the Slayer Man. All right, what you got? You got to be louder and more aggressive if you're going to request Slayer. None of you are loud enough to be Slayer Man. 4 weeks. What you got? Now, I will give you props. You are the first person who has been as loud as the Slayer Man. However, not nearly enough beard. You are not the Slayer Man. Your request is invalid. We got time for one or two more.
Yeah, so Slayer Man became part of the bit. Did he come out to Arizona?
No, I mean, he might show up this weekend.
You never
If
know.
he's there, he'll be there at the first show on Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah,
so-
I was hoping so hard. I was like, please let Tucson be the longest drive that Slayer Man makes.
Yes.
Just so
No.
I can shake that man's hand as a true metal fan. 'Cause
Yeah.
He is, again, 2012, so 14 years he has committed to this.
That's huge. Yeah. How many Ren fairs do you perform at throughout the country?
Oh God! I mean, it depends on year, but
Yeah.
I would say
On average?
somewhere between 7 and 10.
7 to 10 a
roughly.
year?
Yeah, I do short stints. So
Yeah.
like 2 weekends here in Arizona. I'll do 2 weekends in Texas. I'll do a weekend in Tennessee, a weekend in Jersey, 5 weekends in Colorado, just because I got to get used to that elevation.
Right. 5
so-
weekends. Wow.
Yeah.
Is the one in Texas, is that really big one that was featured on the HBO show?
No, this is the one in Dallas. So that's the one in Houston. The one I
Yeah.
work is the one in Dallas. I think that one's
Okay.
the better one.
Which you got
nice.
snowed out at, right? Because of the storm?
That was a different show I was doing in Dallas,
okay.
but yeah, no, they're in April. That's like beautiful in the same way that February in Arizona is perfect.
Yes,
April
yeah.
in Texas is perfect.
Right. Exactly. And of course, the Ren Fair does run all the way almost till April, right?
Last weekend of March this year.
Yeah, well, that's that's when it starts to get toasty. So
Ooh.
you want to go in those first couple weekends as it's going. And
Well, here's a pro tip for the Ren Fair, and a lot of people don't understand this. The first weekends of any Renaissance fair are always the lightest attended.
yeah, that's odd.
People forget that it's happening, and then
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh crap, the Renaissance fair is going. Let me go." Or if they're regulars, and I've had regulars tell me this,
Yeah.
they assume the first weekends are going to be packed, so they're like, "I'll wait until the fourth weekend." No.
Yeah, rookie
That's when
mistake.
it picks up.
Yeah, okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Or going like I did Super Bowl Sunday.
Yes.
So your shows were packed. By the way, if you are going this weekend and you want to see Jacques on stage and everything, go an hour early to see, because that is probably because I've been going to Arizona Renaissance Festival for a long time. I mean, that was the most I've seen Fairhaven stage. I mean, it was wrapped all the way around. Most people were having to stand. Because this is the first time that Renaissance Festival in Arizona is doing these short engagements.
Yeah.
Normally they don't do that. So
This is your first time in Arizona Ren Fair.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, so definitely make sure that you go early, but 100% we went on Super Bowl Sunday, which you made some great jokes about, because it was like, yeah, that's when the true nerds are going.
Uh-huh.
But again, how many did actually hang out for your 5 o'clock show?
We had a full show, or mostly full show.
Okay, cool. So your hardcore nerds didn't want to see Bad Bunny, nothing. They wanted to see you.
They were still there. Yeah, at 5 o'clock on Sunday, half an hour into the Super Bowl, we still had most of that stage full.
Yeah.
And by the end of the show, the stage was fully full.
Nice.
Yeah.
But you didn't do any whip crack bunny or
I don't know enough Bad
slap
Bunny,
rock.
man. Like, yeah, I have reached that age now where like the Super Bowl halftime show is either someone from when I was a kid, aka Green Day, or it's someone who I have like barely any knowledge of, aka Bad Bunny.
Yeah.
I only know of Bad Bunny because of WWE.
I know.
That's it.
I know a lot of people the same way. That's fine. All right, we're gonna have more with Jacques. Jacques the Whipper. I'm trying to say it right. Jacques the Whipper. Jacques the Whipper.
Jack the Whipper. Jacques the Whipper. Whatever
Jacques
you want.
Z Whipper, who you can see at the Ren Fair only this weekend. Last weekend to see his shows. We'll talk about when you can see those shows and more coming up right after this, and music from the Chili Peppers. All right, and I didn't see the call letters because then I was like, I have mucus in my throat. And real quick for just random, the algorithm's good. We're not vegans. I'm a contradiction, so that answers that question.
Ooh, are we bringing on some new listeners?
Always.
Jacques?
We gotta live. You gotta love the algorithm too, and thank you for that. And and you actually, so you're doing morning radio on NPR.
Yeah.
Which is a serious gig, and you're a comedian by trade and entertainer by trade. And so it's an odd kind of mix where it's like you're morning radio, and you could be like morning zoo and cracking all the jokes, but NPR, of course, that's a big gig, and you can't be telling those jokes. You got to read the news and headlines, right?
You also, you don't have the freedom to really riff a whole lot anyway, unless you're doing some kind of interview like this. But for most of it, you're reading the news, you're reading the weather, you're reading what's coming up next, you're doing serious stories, and there's a script.
Yeah.
So it's stick to the script.
Do you provide that script too?
I would write most of mine.
Okay.
It was sort of like there was a team of writers that would write the like top of the hour news, but I would read every single one of those, and sometimes I would rewrite it. I was very particular about the language I used, how I said things, how sentences were structured, because I was really trying to be like beyond reproach in this era of where like journalists are all, and I was like, no. I want to be like, there's no way you can look at what I'm doing and be like, no, he's in so-and-so's back pocket or something like that.
Right. Yeah. You want to be you're kind of original. This is coming from me, and this is me reporting it kind of thing, right? Yeah. Give it your own personal spin, which is difficult too, and especially just reporting the news and rewriting that stuff. And then some stories like investigative pieces where you would kind of like just do all the research, go down rabbit holes, and then write it out to present it.
I wasn't much of an investigative reporter. I did a few pieces, but so I had a beat of like transportation, the subway system, the airport, but what I was really good at was breaking news.
Okay.
I covered the Boston Marathon bombing. I covered the federal trial for the marathon bomber, tornadoes. Like basically, like if something terrible was happening, it was like, all right, send Jack there, and I would hop on my motorcycle and ride, lane split all the way there. Beat Boston traffic.
The Boston bombing, man. What a weird time too, and of course, in the way that went, it was a conspiracy fuel as well, and a very tragic event.
Immediately,
and the way that it ended too. How the FBI and then they killed one brother, right?
Yeah,
if you recall, and then the other brother is still in prison.
He's on death row now.
Yeah, on death row.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you were right there on the front line, seeing all that. And all
yeah,
the tragic and
I wasn't there when the bombs went off.
And that's good.
I heard about it. I got on my motorcycle. I did 60 and a 25. Got there afterwards and covered it. But it was really like, you look back on it now and you're like, that should have been so much worse than it was.
Right. Yeah.
I think it was only 4 people dead.
Right. Yeah.
But it was just a real like gut wrench to the psyche. And it was just a very, very strange time.
Yeah. How long did you feel like it took for the city of Boston to feel like it was back to normal, or did it ever kind of get there?
I think it's back to normal mostly now.
Right.
It's been 13 years this spring. It was 2013, 2014. I forgot. No, 2015. So I feel like it has been long enough that things are kind of back to normal now. But the next few marathons were really weird. It was 2013 because I covered the Red Sox World Series parade as a Yankee fan, which I did not love. But that was the one year where I was like, you know what? I don't hate that the Red Sox won.
Yeah, exactly. Boston strong. And this is the year to do it. Yeah, and it was kind of like a statement and kind of putting a Band-Aid on a very severe wound, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I could just imagine when it happens in your own backyard, in your community, and how people would feel during that. And considering it was such national news, I remember following it all the way through. Still so many questions on that, but it's amazing too, because as an NPR, then a lot of people, it actually is like probably a spike in ratings during that time, and even more because the more serious things happen in the world, then NPR through the roof. I mean, even right now, just with this current administration, is still just peak NPR. NPR is loving it, and you see it in the books and stuff, and it's like in a way, we're in a difficult position too. Because we're finally getting past it, because there's a lot of more bipartisan, and we could talk about the Epstein files and stuff, because then both people on both sides are like, talk about that. But there's that time in entertainment where you couldn't even mention a politician without infuriating someone, and it's like, hey man, I'm just like literally reading a headline. And it got to the point where it's like, you guys are so not fun, then I'm just going to avoid it altogether. And it's such a disservice, too, because it's like now it came to a point where now politics is pop culture.
Yes.
Right. And so when you're doing your show for a large group of people that obviously, when you have 1,000 people in front of you. There's all going to be different religions and political backings and beliefs and stuff like that. Obviously, you're not talking politics and doing this kind of show. Politics didn't exist back in the Ren. Well, they did.
No, there's always been politics,
yeah,
baby.
monarchy and stuff. So, do you incorporate that in any get slights or puns or?
No, every now and then I will just do the slightest dip of the toe over. So I have a bit where I name an audience member Fifi, and around 2017 or 18. They were not doing their job very well. So I was like, if you don't get this right, I'm going to call you Cove Fifi.
Yeah,
if you remember that tweet. That's an old reference. I made that joke and I was like, oh no, I have strayed too far into the world of politics. The audience loved it. They thought it was funny. But no, I mean, like for me, like people have talked to me about like, why am I not more political on social media? Why do I not talk? And it's like, there are a couple of reasons. One, I was a journalist for so long, I got very used to never, ever talking about my personal beliefs.
Right.
But then two is like on the social media world, which is where I spent so much of my time, there is no room for context. And as a former NPR guy, where, we have the time to explore deeper conversations, have like a longer look of like, okay, we're not going to go both sidesist here, but like we're going to give you the context of everything.
Yeah.
I have no desire to discuss politics in 90-second chunks. And I also am on record of saying you shouldn't get your news from social media because social media is designed via the algorithm to show you only what you want to hear.
I know. Yeah. Echo chamber and of course arrangement is engaging.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's evoking that kind of reaction where you're, then
no.
Yeah. And it's probably, exaggerated for the purpose of manipulation for sure.
And also we can have things like you can have content creators that aren't political for the reason.
Dude looks like a lady is
the politics, right?
Also
Like we can have these spaces, okay, here's your political space. Here's your comedy space. Here's your, I don't know, book talk. Like who cares? Like you can stay in your lane.
Yeah.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
It's a weird concept.
Yeah, let's. I want to feature something off your YouTube page real quick. We have about 2 minutes before we get back on the air. Question here. Let's see. Hallelujah for Jacques.
Oh yeah,
Zipper right here. All right, let's play this. You want to set it up? Is there a setup for this?
This was. I was talking with this guy backstage. It was a stage mate of mine in Colorado, and they're a music act, and I was just kind of singing this backstage. And I was like, oh, wait, hang on. Could you give me like the guitar backing? And let's just cold open the show this way.
Yeah. And so this is showcasing you singing a little bit as well.
A little bit.
Okay. All right, let's check it out.
There was a man, he drew a stash. He wore tight pants, he made that cash. And now he is whipping right here for ya. He whips so fast, it's like a flash. It does it all with French panache. And you know his name is Jacques the Whipper.
Voice man.
Whipper. Jacques the Whipper. Jacques the Whipper.
There you go.
Jacques the Whipper.
It really is a variety show that you got going on.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, a lot of people think that is all that the show is. It's just whip songs, and it's not. That's about 10 minutes of the show, maybe a little bit less. And then after that, there's stunts, tricks, jokes that I don't put on the internet because, you don't put the scripted material on the internet. You got to see that in person.
Yes. I like that rule. I like that rule. I don't think that too many people really know that rule or should actually abide by that rule. But I think that's a brilliant. Yeah, those impromptu moments that you catch.
Yeah.
That you put on there. Yeah, that's fantastic. Let's get on the air. Rock 102.1 KFMA. Welcome back to Beef Vegan Presents. Ren Fair happening from now every weekend until the last weekend of March. But this weekend, see our featured performer that is in studio right now, Jacques the Whipper. I'll say it. By the end, I don't know. The caffeine will wear off eventually, or Jack the Whipper. Then you have to go this weekend. All right. Here's my first question here, Jack.
Yeah.
How many women ask you to whip them in general? Since you're a pro,
uncountable.
It is uncountable, right?
It's too high.
You're right.
My Instagram, Facebook. I don't even check the Facebook DMs anymore.
Oh,
TikTok DMs. I generally don't check either. Instagram DMs I check rarely.
That
and
is like
every
the
time-
lead line
Yeah.
that you would get
It is
randomly.
more men than women.
That makes sense too.
Because men are more forward.
Yes,
and
they are.
Men have had less experience being objectified, and therefore they are generally worse. Now, that is a generalization.
Yes.
That is not always the case.
Yes.
I have had women be very unpleasant as well as men be very unpleasant.
And I have to apologize for that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sure.
What is your demographic? Because I was seeing a whole array of people. A lot of teenagers and a lot of disappointed dads. So you're gonna. What is the demographic?
The demographic. It was funny. I was talking to my friend about this yesterday. He's a lawyer, and he was like, your stuff is not my jam. I'll be honest. I was like, that's fair. You are not my target demographic. It is neurodivergent teens up to middle-aged mothers.
Okay,
is generally my experience, and I should stress, like, I am also of the neurodivergent community. So like, I see them, and I'm like, I just want to hold them.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're okay. You're okay. You're okay. But also I need you to not scream stuff out at my show.
Yeah.
I need you to just keep it tight for this 45 minutes.
Right. Yeah. Do you think you got more of those odd requests before or after 50 Shades of Grey? Because you've been doing this a long time.
I wasn't super famous when 50 Shades of Grey came out.
Okay.
So it was when that came out, there were like, I got a few like silly references, but not a ton. I think I got more of it when I first started out and people didn't realize that I'm married.
Right.
And then I got a few more and then people realized that I'm married and monogamous. And then people are like, oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah. Speaking of which, is she your partner when it comes to your social media? Because you got a fantastic social media platform. And of course, you got to have cameras there, the editing, the shorts, and your subscribers, you're over like almost 2 million. Where are we at here?
On Instagram or on YouTube, it's 1.5.
Yeah. 1.5 million. And did your social media grow fast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my wife is my photographer, editor, videographer. She's a former photojournalist as well.
That's perfect.
Wedding videographer, social media manager at Boston University. So she's like the perfect resume.
Yeah. You blew up before you met your wife, or were you already married? Okay.
No, we weren't married yet. I said we were so that people would stop being weird.
Yeah.
But I got on TikTok in September of 2021 after someone else posted a clip of me that got 2 million views.
Yeah, you're like, oh no.
I was like, I'm going to go viral. I need to profit off this.
Yes, you do.
I blew past the Instagram content monetization threshold, 10,000 followers, certain number of views in 10 days.
Nice.
And within 4-ish months, I had 2 million followers.
Oh, wow.
Well, that was on TikTok, right?
I was on TikTok.
Yeah, and now you're at 4 million on TikTok.
Yeah, just hit 4 million actually earlier this month.
Yeah, congratulations on that. Yeah, and that one pays more than Instagram, right?
No.
Oh, really?
No. Well, I mean, Instagram pays like nothing, so yes.
Yes.
YouTube is the biggest earner for me, then followed by probably Facebook, then...
Really? Facebook Meta actually pays?
Facebook pays very solidly. Instagram pays nothing.
And they're two in the same.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
That's insane.
I think Meta wants Facebook to continue being relevant. They're like, post there, please.
Right.
Yeah.
Let us have content there. And then I would say, it's probably YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and then like everything else.
There you go. I think that makes sense. Cause we've had some, content creators, some, that do this professionally, come in, good following. They kind of said the same. YouTube is basically the one that is taking care of content creaters far more than anyone. And then you have the streamer sites, right? Like the Kicks.
I'm on Twitch.
Okay, yeah.
Twitch, I'll say this outright. Twitch maybe averages 800 or 900 a month.
Okay.
So
it's not the main thing.
It's money for playing video games, and I will not complain about that.
Yeah. Are you playing video games when you're on Twitch?
I am.
What are you playing?
Right now, so I've been playing a lot of Street Fighter. I've been playing a lot of 7 Days to Die, which is like a zombie survival game, and then we're going to do another Baldur's Gate 3 run with D&D Party.
Fantastic game, right?
I love it.
Yeah.
We're going to do it on honor mode, and I'm going to have to carry everyone through.
I believe he said neurodivergent.
Yes,
So
I love that too.
And
What a great way too when you to do it on Twitch, to play video games on Twitch is the perfect excuse to your wife being like, "Hey, I'm sorry, babe, I'm working."
She's a gamer too.
Yeah.
So she uses that time to get her gaming in because we have wildly divergent interests when it comes to gaming.
That's great. Is there a game that she's way better at?
Helldivers.
Helldivers?
Yeah.
Where you can't even compare.
She loves Helldivers too.
Okay.
And like I mean, like, I think in terms of like base video gaming ability, I'm usually above her.
Yeah.
But she probably has like 300 hours in that game at this point.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, does she have a follower? Does she do Twitch as well? What's her name?
No, so she, my name on Twitch, just Jacques Whipper.
Okay.
But she one of the first things she said to me on our first date 10 years ago was, I'm not an in front of the camera person. I'm not an on-stage person.
Fair.
I'm behind the camera.
Yeah.
And I had just gotten out of relationships with like people who wanted to be actors. And at first I was like, oh, I don't know if this is going to work. And then I was like, oh no, maybe this is actually exactly what I need.
Perfect. Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. You can see that, that's relatable too. That's crazy. I mean, you brought your whips in. So I actually want you to we're going to see what we can do here on the stream. You can join us youtube.com/beefvegan. And these are the smaller whips. Ooh.
Listen, they've got big whip energy.
Yes, they do. I'm sure I'm sure you can make it crack and we can pick it up with these mics.
I feel like I'm in danger.
No, you're fine.
You wish.
Probably.
Yeah.
That's what we can get here.
Yeah, we're going to see what kind of things we could try to pull off here on the podcast broadcast. We're going to be back with more Jacques the Whipper or Jacques Z Whipper this weekend, Arizona Ren Fair, of course, and there's going to be shows on Saturday or Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
No, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Saturday, Sunday, Monday, because President's Day.
Got the Monday holiday.
And it's the Queen's birthday.
Oh, nice.
That's
okay, and 2 shows each day?
4 shows.
4 shows.
The last show of the day is a completely different show. I do that with Adam Crack, who is the actual best whip cracker at the Arizona Renaissance Festival.
Okay,
Yeah,
Adam
he's
Crack.
awesome.
Okay, a nice little 2-man whipping action.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We're going to talk more and remind you about that right after these words. Music from 3 Days Grace and the Ramones. You can join us, youtube.com/beefvegan. Clear. All right. So, let's see what we can do.
Can I also steal some water from
Oh,
somebody?
yeah. Actually, let's do that as we get you all hydrated here. I'll just play a clip from earlier this morning. I asked this question. This is a debate.
Yeah.
Where I'm going this weekend to visit my aunt and uncle with my girlfriend over Valentine's Day weekend.
Hell yeah.
Staying at their place. Do I get it on or not?
Yes.
That's the debate. Well, we talked about it earlier this morning. In case you missed it, it went like this. Check it out. Rock 102.1 KFMA. That's Sleep Token with Caramel here. Obviously we have Valentine's Day this weekend, which is great. A lot of people have plans. I personally have plans. But then that brings up the question, what do you do in a situation where you are visiting family, which I'm doing? So this weekend, I'm going to San Francisco, right, with my girlfriend. To do all the tourist stuff. I love that city. We're going to do Alcatraz. We're going to do the Redwood Forest. We're going to do all that. We're going to eat clam chowder out of sourdough bowls, or walk up and down the hills, all that stuff. It's going to be great. And I'm stoked for it. All the geeky stuff that
fun
annoyed
stuff.
me when I was a kid.
Hit the Ghirardelli Chocolate Factory too, man.
All of it, right? And so with that, though, I am staying with my aunt and uncle. And my uncle, he, after I had everything booked, he reached out to me and he's like, Brad, I realized that Saturday is Valentine's Day. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, well, if you want to take your girl out and have like a nice dinner and do a romantic thing. And I'm like, no, that's fine. The trip is our Valentine's Day experience. I don't need to, splinter off. We want to hang out as a unit. I love my aunt and uncle. So this is an opportunity to be able to hang out with them, introduce them to the woman I've been dating who I feel like they're going to get along swimmingly, which is great. That's not the debate. That's not the question. The question is, should I have sex with my girlfriend at my aunt and uncle's condo while I'm there? I'll be there for 3 nights, right? And it's a thing. Like when you stay with family, with your partner, do you get it on in their house?
You said condo, and
it's a condo because
see that's a little different than a house.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Like
so here's
maybe.
Well, you keep in mind this is downtown San Francisco, so everything there is, as far as the metrics are different. So their place, which is $1 million place, is small in square footage, right? It's basically like a townhouse of sorts, and their spare bedroom shares a wall with their main bedroom. Yes, I know. And then the door is like a kind of like a glass door. It has blinds in front of it, so there's privacy, so they wouldn't see anything. But it's not like a thick door.
Right.
So, if things got loud, the noise would travel. Now, I know different
Now,
speeds.
yeah.
So it doesn't have to get loud.
Right.
You got to control the volume.
Right.
And you could put like the TV on or something to try to
No
like
TV.
mask. Oh, well, I tried.
Yeah.
You know, that I would probably feel uncomfortable, to be honest, just out of respect for my uncle.
Yeah.
Because they're putting you up, and I get the feeling because you're in San Francisco. It's Valentine's weekend. You get a lot of that Napa Valley wine.
We'll
in
be
your belly.
drinking.
Yeah, it's a romantic city to some.
Yes.
Maybe just go find another place. You know what I'm saying? Like, just pay for like.
No way. It's San Francisco. You know how expensive that is? Even like the no-tell motel is probably like $1,000 an hour.
What?
It's San Francisco. The Silicon Valley screwed that town as far as financially.
Yeah, that's
you
the
know,
truth
like
on that,
it's
but-
all Richies. There's Richies everywhere. What are you gonna say?
Your aunt and uncle are grown adults.
Yes, they are.
They know the facts of life.
That's
they
right.
know about the birds and the bees.
And they're hippies by heart, right?
They know
live
it's
in San Francisco.
Valentine's weekend. So
Yeah,
it's
but
like,
you think-
I don't think they're going to have an issue, especially if you were to keep it respectful, quiet, quick.
Well, then
you
they
know?
won't know. And then quick.
Yeah,
Come
no,
on,
I can't do quick. I'm
Get outta
46
here.
years old.
Oh,
I
come
can't
on.
do quick. I
Come
can't force it out. You know what I mean?
But-
I got to go through all the
What?
emotions.
You think your uncle wants to hear you like smashing in the other room and being like, "Yeah, that's my nephew."
Yeah.
That's-
Well,
yeah,
so I mean,
I don't
you
know your
keep it
uncle, to be
down.
honest.
Keep it down.
I mean, he might be cool with it.
He's a psychologist, right? So and his specialty was relationships, like
So, yeah.
couples therapy, right?
So he's expecting you to.
In a way, I think he might be disappointed.
He's
You know?
you're gonna
Right.
go into that room and there's gonna be like some Trojans and some lube.
Trojans. Again, I'm 46, dude. We
You don't
stopped
think you
using
get people
condoms
pregnant?
in the 90s.
Yeah, but
okay.
he's thinking about you. I'm not saying that this is what you want. This is what he wants.
Yeah,
Just being a nice guy.
I date age appropriate. I'm not dating like fertile 20-year-olds. You know what I mean? So when it comes to like the condom thing is laughable at best.
Okay.
But, okay. So you've never got it on at a family member's house or a friend's house and you're staying there?
Friend's house possibly. Yeah, family member. No, I would do that.
All right. What about you,
Do it.
Kendall?
I plead the fifth.
No, you can't plead the fifth.
Because my attorney has advised me that it's best that if I just,
So that's a
remain-
yes. That's a yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like obvious.
All right. And
Pretty
well, you didn't get caught, didn't have any awkward moments there?
No, but I would also feel like in my home and I'm hosting, as long as it's not like crazy overt in your face,
Right.
I'm like, whatever, man. Just make sure you clean up, you're not leaving messes. You're not just like, going on for hours and being super loud. Like,
Right.
Keep it down and, I'll turn my cheek.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Maybe I'll just play like just a tip or something like that, and then have it just build up over the weekend and stuff. A little here, a little there, a little here. And then we get back home, finish it off, but then in that way, I think it's respectful and you still get a little intimacy along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought about doing it in the Redwood Forest because we're going to go to the Redwood Forest. But I mean, I would feel super inadequate standing next to that giant wood,
Yeah.
Those things are massive. Have you seen them?
I have been.
So big,
I've seen him. Yeah.
Yeah, if you feel like you got a small peen and you whip it out next to a redwood forest tree, yeah.
This inanimate object's just gonna ruin it for you, huh?
Oh, I mean, it's
It's
massive.
like these trees are gonna give it to my girlfriend so much better than I am.
I have girthy trunks, dude. You wouldn't understand. You are redwood laying down.
I'm not
But
gonna.
for us regular guys, I don't know. But there are places to hide there, so who knows?
Yeah, you'll just have like Bigfoot watching you and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
He'll
God.
appreciate it. The deer.
Yeah.
Pretty creepy.
All right. Well, I guess I'll just keep you posted.
Yeah,
I'll
let us know
let
how
you
this goes. Okay?
Yeah. I'll text you in real time. It's happening. Or she said no. I mean, the thing is, my decision is my decision, but
She
it
can be
takes
comfortable.
two
Yeah.
to decide, right?
What
and
if-
she could equally be like, I would feel. She would probably say, I feel uncomfortable in this situation, and I have to respect that.
Totally.
What about roles reverse? If it's your home and you're hosting and you have a couple staying with you, how do you feel about it? Do you
Shag
care?
away.
Yeah.
Shag away. I mean, just make sure you're in position where the cameras get all the good angles.
Oh gosh.
Right.
But you did some deal with Courtney, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I was getting phone calls there. All right, let's see. We're going to do something special here on the podcast. I wish and we're going to get on the air here in a couple minutes, so I'm wondering what we should save something for that, but we could test it out here on the stream. We would have 4 mics, but Emil did accidentally break his mic, like literally right before we got Jack come in. So That's fantastic.
Little limp mic action.
Oh my God, it's so bad. It's so just completely. And luckily, we're off tomorrow, and I'll just send it to my engineer on my way out on vacation. Like, hey, I'm out of here. By the way, fix that shit. I'll be back on Tuesday. And I'm so glad that actually you're going to be doing for President's Day and doing Monday, because I get back on Sunday purposely for a day of recovery, and I'm like, oh yeah, no, that would be fantastic to go up there on a Monday. I think it would be a good day to go too, because yes, people have off, but I still feel like it would be slower than Saturday, Sunday.
I think, yeah. So my experience with the 3-day weekends is the Mondays are always, like Sundays normally are always lighter, and then especially Mondays as well.
Yeah.
And the weather, I think, is supposed to be like perfect.
Yeah.
Like 72 degrees.
Yeah. I was going to plan on doing it on the 21st, right? But now I'm like, nah, actually, yeah, we could just continue this adventure of a weekend and wrap it up on Sunday or Monday.
Buy your girl a turkey leg.
It's Emil. What do you like?
They're turkey legs.
Really, the ones here? Because
the way
there's so much cartilage, man.
Yeah, that's how turkeys work, man.
Really?
Yeah, they're sinewy. they're little dinosaurs, man. We got them up in Boston. They are mean.
Really?
Those things are jerks. And I don't mean jerks. I mean words far stronger than that, but I don't know how much I'm allowed to curse, so I'm just going to.
Well, you're on the stream now, so I mean, you get it out. Yeah,
they are assholes.
Yeah. Turkey assholes.
I hit a turkey with my car one time, and I didn't feel bad. They walk around in gangs, and they do it on Thanksgiving as a show of power. That's not a joke.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, like
maybe you'll finally let this go that they're not turkey.
I'm almost there, but not 100%. I'm still not a fan of them. I like for whatever reason, I'll switch to other things. They got big sausages there. They got a lot of good food at the Ren Fair. Yeah. That's you don't have to do the turkey leg, but. All right, that's first. That's a first, because I've asked other Ren Fair performers, and they would neither confirm or deny, or be like, "You're on to it."
No, it's turkey.
I don't know.
It's
because then they spell turkey legs with 2 G's, so it's a brand and it's not like an actual description to avoid any litigation.
I've only been at this fair for 2 days.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure. I mean, like every other fair I've worked,
we have a lot of emus in this state. It's an emu state.
Yeah.
So. All right. Well, you haven't had one yet?
I've actually never had a Ren Fair turkey leg.
Okay, so no, you can't say then, dude. I'm telling you,
I've had a bite of one once, but no, I'm sitting backstage. I'm not going out of my way to go get fair food.
Yeah,
I bring my
fair.
own food.
Okay.
Listen, the food is great. Actually, no. So I do get fair food every now and then, and by me, I mean my wife will go get it for me.
Yeah.
If we have a break. And she's able to get food.
Do you set up do all the performers have basically like an RV city that's right there?
Most of the performers do. I don't. Because I'm flying in and out. I'm just in it at an Airbnb.
Okay. Oh, nice. So you got a good place that's close by ish.
It's as the crow flies, it's very close. As the roads fly, it is not.
Okay.
So it's a little bit more of a hike than I would like, but it's a solid place.
All right, nice. All right, we're back here live on the air. We're gonna end with some basically some examples of what Jacques Z Whipper can do here that you can see at the Ren Fair this week. And again, it's Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. These are the last 3 days that you can catch a performance from Jacques. And again, there's 4 shows per day, but you could always see him online as well, because it's fantastic social media presence that you'll be able to check out anywhere that you're on social media, whether it be YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Give him some of that Facebook money too,
Please.
And so part of your act, again, it's like just like your father, you're a jack of all trades, right? So you're a circus performer, comedian, and you also are kind of like a songsmith of sorts, right? So always including that as part of the variety. You get a mixture of everything all rolled into one, and you're able to basically turn the whip into like a musical instrument, which is very impressive. And it's percussion. You would consider that a percussion instrument?
I would say so.
Yeah. So and then you also kind of like you make them into your own. In a way, like a parody song, a little satire,
little Weird Al vibe there.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, let's see if we can get an example of it here in the studio. So,
well, we were talking about, Nirvana, getting some of the oldies, and it hurts me to say that that's oldies.
It is. I know it's on Classic Rock just as much as it's on our station. Turn your camera sideways, there, weirdo.
And I have actually some pre-prepared lyrics for Nirvana's "Smells Like Teen Spirit," all about how we're all a little bit older than we used to be.
Right.
So, all right.
Are you afraid you're going to get whipped here, Weirdo?
Absolutely not.
All right. Okay. Yeah. I forgot she enjoys that kind of stuff here.
Well, let's get back to the 90s, and the 90s are now oldies. Oh, my poor knees. I'ma get teased by the Gen Zs saying skibbity.
Skibbity?
Why?
I don't know. Yeah. Excellent. And to be able to do that with the smaller whips here, in studio is it's a claustrophobic setting. It's not an ideal setting for you. Obviously, when you're on the Ren Fair stage or anywhere else, it's, huge. And how long are your whips? Are they like Indiana Jones style whips?
So I have whips ranging from most of the whips I use on stage are about 5 feet long. And then the whips I just used, these are, 3 feet long.
Okay.
And then, I have smaller whips for indoors, and then I have a couple of whips that go up to like 10, 12 feet.
Right. Yeah. I seen that you did videos as well where, you have to get the apple off the head every,
God, yes.
Are those terrifying for you as well? Or?
Depends on the circumstance. So sometimes, yes, if I'm not confident, like if I'm whipping a soda can, just because my technique has to be so precise that if I mess up there, they're gonna get a gash.
Yeah.
But if I'm whipping an apple or a cup off someone's head, I'm not terribly worried about that.
Okay, yeah.
I can afford to take a little bit of the mustard off the whip.
That's good, yeah. But the soda can, you got to really get in there.
You got to get that technique perfect.
Yes. Oh, man. It's been amazing just hearing about your journey, how you came to be as a performer, and your entire life kind of just working on your craft. And so, I wish you continued success. You definitely got new subscribers and followers out of there, and which we already had. But, I'm sure people out there listening, it's going to be a fantastic time seeing you at the Ren Fair this year. And we hope that you come back to Arizona and perform at the Ren Fair in many years to come. So just remind people out there where they can follow you exactly to make it super easy for them.
So I'm on all the platforms. If you want to find my website, which always has my schedule, if you want to know where I'm going to be, jackthewhipper.com or jacquesthewhipper.com or even jacklepiars.com. None of you know how to spell any of my names, so I made them all.
That is you know what? That's smart too, and also a shout out to your wife for putting together amazing social media content as well. Yes. I know it's a 2-man operation and stuff, and together you guys are completely unstoppable and continuing to be one of the biggest attractions in the entire circuit. So keep an eye out for a new hour of stand-up comedy from Jack the Whipper as well, which I'm sure you'll be able to find out on the website.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, we're workshopping that kind of smaller show. So I'm going to do that in Washington. I'm doing it basically like small stuff. Work on it, tighten it, and then with any luck, be really doing it next year.
I love it. Yeah, I can't wait to see it and stuff, and make sure that you reach out when you release it so we could spread the word as well. Thank you for coming in. Weirdo, Kendall, thank you so much. You guys listening out there, thank you guys. Just a reminder, we have a 4-day weekend, so we'll be back here live Tuesday. Till then, enjoy the rest of your day. Drive safe, ride safe, and as always, rock local. Later.
When you wish upon a side of beef, soon will come an end to